Two birds, two bats, and of course the assorted flavors of crazy people. As you can tell by the thumbnail, the picture that you must have clicked on, Baby May and I just purchased a car,
Yeah.
and it's for Christmas.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daddy Paul, for the Christmas gift for me.
No problem.
Yeah.
And what I want to do in this is kind of go over my thought process of why it was time to buy a car. I've lived out here 5.5 years, and I've been with May for 4 years. In
Yeah.
fact, today's our anniversary.
Yeah.
She forgot. I didn't forget. Now, isn't
Happy
it the
four
guys that
years
always
anniversary,
forget
Daddy
and the
Paul.
girls always remember? For some reason, it slipped her mind. I don't know. She made up for it later, though. Anyway, I don't want to get off track here. All right, so in this video, I'm going to cover why we bought a car, what my thought process was, how much it cost, and anything else that comes to mind, and future plans for the vehicle. So I've always considered myself, and I've always lived, and I think I've been fairly successful as being a minimalist. The less I own, happier I am. Less is more kind of theory. And so buying a car, I always thought you had to be, that's a big commitment. And I also have a philosophy not to buy anything you can't afford to walk away from. And so those have been my commandments, and I've done a fairly good job, if I pat myself on the back, of sticking to that. It took me a year and a half to buy a TV when we moved in here. So anyway, why did we buy a car, and how much did it cost, and where did we go, and all that hoo-ha. So I'll start at the very beginning, which is 5.5 years ago when I moved here. When I first moved here, buying a car was the furthest thing from my mind. I was in the car business. The thought of walking into a dealership nauseated me. And I was really looking forward to just driving a scooter, having the freedom to zip around. And I did that for a couple of 3 years. Really enjoyed it. In fact, my first scooter was a Kimco.
Yeah, keep
And we affectionately referred to it as our gay-ass looking little scooter because it turned pink in the sun.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of fun with that. Unfortunately, Kimco saw his last days, and we gave it away to May's family.
Yeah.
And they've been able to use it and enjoy it, which is great. And then we got Baby Mae, her own little scooter.
Yeah.
And I have a scooter of my own. And so as far as the minimalists go, I'm not doing too good here, am I? We're buying all kinds of stuff. But I also have a philosophy of want versus need. And so I think a true minimalist will look at something that they can purchase and say, do I want that just for the sake of wanting it? In other words, I've got a TV there on the wall.
Yeah.
I could go out tomorrow and buy one twice as big. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yeah, who wouldn't? But I just tap down those feelings and have learned to accept that what I have is enough. Because stuff tends to own you as opposed to you owning the stuff, especially if you're making payments on it. So I also told myself when I moved out here that if I couldn't afford to pay cash for something, there was no way I was going to buy it. And financing for a foreigner is very complicated anyway. But since I've been with her for 4 years, it would be easy peasy. We just put it in her name, and they do a few little checks, and then they send you the happy coupon book. I didn't want to get into that game. So as we drove the scooter, I was really enjoying myself, zipping in and out, driving here, wind in the hair, all the proverbial stuff. And every now and then you get caught in the rain, but that was like no big deal.
Yeah.
And my reflexes and my eyesight and my attentiveness, I've got to confess, was much more proficient when I first got out here than it is today. I have aged. It's 5 years later. I'm going to be 68 next month.
Yeah.
Or, well, February. I'm going to be 68. I think I do pretty good for my age as far as being able to maneuver and and hang out with the big dogs. But time does take a toll on you, and safety becomes an issue. 5 years ago, when I was driving a scooter, I could go an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, no problem. Just stop every now and then for a little rest and keep on going. We'd drive to Chaton to go see
Yeah.
her parents. We'd drive all the way up the hill to the Twin Lakes.
Yeah.
We would have a great time. We would drive to different resorts that
Yeah.
were hour and a half, 2 hours away. No big deal. Well, as of the last year or so, that hour and a half drive has cut back down to about 30 minutes. And before I start getting numbness in my hands, my butt starts to hurt, I start to get distracted, and then if it gets windy or if it gets rainy, I feel like it's dangerous, we've got to pull over. And so I felt that purchasing a car, I decided this a year ago, is no longer a want, it's a need. And safety has to be priority number one. Last year, I actually went out and priced cars. We did the proverbial car shopping. I looked at Hyundai, we looked at Kia, we looked at Toyota,
Yeah.
we looked at a number of different brands, and they were all equally confusing and trying to figure out which one was the best one for us. But I've always been drawn towards Toyota, simply because of its reputation of being reliable. I've met a number of guys out here that have bought Toyotas. They've been very happy with it. And so that was my decision, was to buy a Toyota. Now, last year, I was still too much, even though I could afford it last year, I was still too much of a cheapskate. Just go ahead and pull the trigger. I said, you know what? Because I have this motto is don't buy anything that you can't walk away from. And if I invest this much money into a car, that's not something I can just walk away from. But I've since fine-tuned the thinking and thought, how much price can I put on my safety and her safety? There is no number. And it needs to happen if we're going to continue to live out here. The good news is that cars and bikes actually hold their value very, very strongly out here. And it's really tough to get hurt on the resale of a car. I bought a clunker a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That was just a terrible car. And I did a very poor job, I admit it, of doing due diligence, getting it checked out and whatnot. And I think I paid $3,000 for it, and I ended up selling it for $2,800. And so I lost $200. And that was actually a commission that I paid to Toto, our mechanic.
Yeah.
He sold it for us. I didn't want to hassle with it. So we pretty much broke even on that deal and learned a lot from it. And it turned us off of used cars completely.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go with new. And once we decided that we were going to get the WeGo, other things popped up. We decided to take some trips and whatnot, and being cognizant of the budget, we just sort of continued along with the scooter. It's been raining like crazy for the last few months, and then another dynamic came in, which is the money. So let me get to that. When we were back looking at the WeGo, the peso was at about 50 to 1, 50 pesos per dollar. And the WeGo sells for, I had to write this down, 681,200 pesos. That's the price tag for an automatic base model WeGo. That's automatic, air conditioning, not too much else. There's a few electronics such as Bluetooth, and you can hook your phone up to it, which I haven't done yet, and power windows and power locks and remote entry. And that's about it. It's a basic car, which really turns me on. The less it's got, the more happy I am. I just want to go from point A to point B. So, back in the day when we were looking at the car, it was, at that number, it was, I wrote this down, 13,624 US dollars at 50 to 1 for 681,000 pesos. A couple of months ago, things changed with the peso, and it went from 50 to approximately 59.
Yeah.
And when I saw that 2, 3 months ago happening, I just started moving money. And the car was in the back of my mind, but I also thought that it was just a prudent thing to do. I know that what goes up must come down, and that's been proven out. Today the peso's at about 56, 55. But back a couple, 3 months ago, I started moving as much as I was allowed to move and parking it in my bank. And so when it came trying to pull the trigger on the car, the price that I paid, because I got 59 for my peso, the $13,624 went to $11,545 on money that I moved 2, 3 months ago. And that was a savings of $2,079, which made the decision easier because they don't discount cars here. Now, I want to get into the process. When I finally decided to get a car, I went down with my friend Mike to Toyota. I don't think were you with me?
Yeah.
We looked, okay, so
Yeah.
Mae was with us also. And we looked at the car, and I told him, I want a Wego. And so they had a gray one available, but they didn't have a gray one available. They said they had it available, and I could put a deposit on it and get the car. But I honestly didn't want gray because, again, safety. I want people to be able to see us at night.
Yeah.
When we're coming at them. And gray is just too dark. Gray or black at night does not show up. Where this orange color we got lights
Yeah.
up like the sun. So they'll be able to see us. Us seeing them's important, but them seeing me is important too. And so it was kind of cute because it was a typical Filipino experience in buying the car. I spoke with the manager, Karen, very nice lady. The Toyota dealership in Dumaguete is very nice. And I asked her, I said, okay, I'd like to order a Wego. I don't want the gray one. We're not going to get it. And in fact, it was already actually spoken for. So I gave her 10,000 pesos. She goes, what color do you want? I said, orange. And this was back in November. And I said, do you have an idea of when it will come in? She says, sir, I really don't know. Which was a great answer. You know, she didn't know. She said, but we will contact you. Then she introduced me. She turned me, if you will, to a salesman. And he goes by Roberto, I believe. And we actually have a little clip of Roberto, which we'll show in a minute. But when we were talking to him, they said, we will contact you when it comes in. And when it comes in, you can come in, pay the rest of the money, sign the paperwork, take the car home. Sounds good to me. So sure enough, last week, I got a phone call from Roberto, and he says, hey, your car is allocated to come in. It's not here yet, but we're predicting it'll be in before the end of the year, meaning the end of December. I said, awesome, great. Just let me know when it's there, and I'll be there. I've got the money, because I had moved it, remember? And so I think a day or two later, he called me up and said, hey, your unit's here. Come on down and pick it up and bring the money with you. Good man, you know. Rule number one of business, take the money. So I said, will do. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. He said, deal. So I called. I said, well, I don't want to go down there with the bike because now I'm going to be leaving a bike there. And I'd like to just get a ride. So my friend Mike, again, he had bought a Toyota there. He had some questions about his car. He says, Paul, I'm more than happy to take you down there and hang out with you and look at the cars. And that way I can get my car looked at and ask some questions. And so Mike was kind enough to meet us at 10 o'clock on, I believe it was the 23rd of this month. That was 5 days ago. And we drove all the way out there with Mike. Mike had to come all the way up to Valencia to pick us up. drove us to Toyota, came with the money, and I said, so the car's here? Yep. And you need the money? Yep. And we're going to sign the papers? Yep. And we're going to take the car? Yep. And I said, okay. I said, so what's first? He says, well, we need to check in your money. I said, okay. So here is a clip that I'm going to insert in of Mae paying the money.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm here with the world famous Baby Mae. And Baby Mae, you got fat stacks today, right?
Yep.
Because we're at Toyota.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so excited.
And who's this handsome guy?
I'm a salesman.
All right, what's your name?
America, sir.
All right, so you're going to take Mae over to the cashier?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Okay. Her the cashier.
So this is Baby Mae's Christmas gift.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited. It's my first time.
Asa ka take us, Jim? Pagawas mo paliw.
Talk about paying cash for a car.
Yeah.
No financing for Mae.
I put in the.
Okay, so what do you got there? You got 2,
Okay, yes.
4, 6,
Right.
and then that one's not, yeah, that's loose. That's 71 too.
Okay.
So that was the total. After a 10,000 peso deposit,
Yeah.
so it was 681.
7-1.
Okay.
Well, there you go. It's
You
right there.
counting? You counting?
Well, the cashier will count.
Okay.
It's like you're at the casino cashing in your chips or something. All right, so we'll let her do her job, and we won't, it's nerve-wracking to count money, so we'll leave
Yeah.
that for now. And then when we go sign the paperwork, we'll come back, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
And then thank you for the Christmas gift.
No problem. He said, so let's go take a look at the car. I said, okay. So we went out and we looked at the car. And we have a clip of that, which I will insert right here. All right, so we're going to go take a look at our car that just arrived, and it should be nice and dirty. But they'll get it prepped up. We'll also give you a little tour of the dealership. This is service. But we're going out this way, so.
Ah,
You see it?
yeah.
Oh, so this is where the new cars come in. Okay.
Wow.
There it is, huh?
Yeah. I love the color, orange.
You'll see us coming.
Thank
There's
you,
no
Lord.
hiding with this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very nice.
So that's our new car.
Yeah, new. Still cover the plastic.
Yeah. So how long will it take to get it ready to go?
It will be ready by tomorrow afternoon, sir.
Okay. Fair enough. So we'll make one more trip back to pick it up?
Yes, sir.
Now, do we need to sign anything now? Or
Tomorrow.
tomorrow? Okay,
Yes.
good enough. We'll see you tomorrow, boss.
Yeah, sir. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. That's the clip of us looking at the car and him telling me that it won't be ready until tomorrow. And I didn't lose my cool. I honestly wasn't surprised by it. I just said, okay. Now, what I don't have a clip of is my conversation with him about the tinting of the windows. And this is where I get kind of a grin. And I hope you do too. Free tint is included in this deal, as well as a year's worth of comprehensive insurance was tossed in as a promotion, if you will. And so I asked him, I said, when are you going to tint the windows? He says, we have to make an appointment for that. I said, okay, when's the next appointment? He said, December 26th. I said, okay, so I'm going to be picking up the car tomorrow, which is, I think, the 24th. Yeah, the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. And then I'm going to need to bring it back in 2 days later and get it tinted. He said, yes. I said, at the time, I agreed to that. And we went home, and then I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? I don't want to have Mike take us 2-3 times, or anybody else take us 2-3 times to get this car. I'd just as soon have the tint done. We'll get the car after Christmas. That's fine. And we'll save ourselves a trip. So I contacted the salesman, and I said, look, boss, you've got my money. We're cool, right? He said, yeah. I said, that's my car, right? Yeah, you're not going to sell it to anybody else. No, we're not. I said, great. I said, here's what I want to do. I want to go ahead, wish you a Merry Christmas, because I know you're going to be closed on the 25th. And on the 26th, just keep the car. And on the 26th, do the tint. And that way I can make one trip down, and I'll pick up the car, and that'll be that. And he said, well, hold on a second, sir. Let me check. And because this was now out of our original deal. So about 5-10 minutes later, he finally came back. He must have checked with whoever, and he said, okay, sir, that's fine. We'll do it on the 26th, and then will you be here on the 26th to pick it up? I said, sure, I'll come down. And that was that. Well, 15 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was Roberto, my friend, at the car dealership. And he says, we might be closed on the 26th. I said, well, when will you know? He goes, I'm not really sure. And I said, well, okay. And he goes, what color tint do you want on the car? And there's light, there's medium, and there's dark. I said, well, how about we just go with medium? That'll be fine because, I don't need to have the limousine thing going on. Medium sounds good. It'll keep the heat out and all that. And he said, okay, so if it's not on the 26th, we'll do it on the 27th, medium tint. I said, sure, that sounds good. Well, 5 minutes later, good old Roberto called me back. He said, we only have light tint. We're out of stock on the medium. He goes, then he says, so which tint do you want? I said, well, what I want is medium, but you don't have medium, do you? He goes, no, we just got light. He goes, so which one do you want? I said, well, Roberto, I think I'll take the light. He said, okay. And so that was the end of that. And was it today or yesterday that we
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
See how my mind is? So anyway, yesterday is the 27th. Sure enough, he sent me a message in the morning and said, you can come down and pick up your car. And I said, great. What time? He said, 3 o'clock. And I had the presence of mind to call him back right away. And I said, by the way, have you put the tint on the car? I was waiting to find out that there was something slipped up there. He says, they're doing it now. As we speak, it'll be ready. And so that is the story of us buying a car.
Yeah.
And then today, we took our first ride in it. We just kind of got it home yesterday. And today we went out, and what did we do? We were able to drop off our laundry.
Yeah.
Which was, we didn't have to beg on somebody to help us down the road or do the tenacious drive, bobbling down, holding laundry. Where else did we go?
And then go to the Dumaguete.
We went to Dumaguete.
Yeah.
We parked at Tom Tom's. We were able to walk around a little bit. We went to Robinson's.
Yeah.
And we were going to buy an ice cooler to put in the back so that when we buy frozen food, we can just put the frozen food in the cooler in the back of the car and continue on with our day. Because with the scooter, if we go into town and buy frozen anything or anything that could spoil, we got to hump all the way back home with the bike,
Yeah.
drop off the stuff, put it in the freezer, the refrigerator, whatever it requires, and then if we have more stuff to do, take yet a second trip down the hill to Dumageddon. That's been eliminated. And it turns out that we actually have a cooler we didn't know about. They
Yeah.
pointed it out to me. And so we don't need
From
to buy
Sir
one.
Goldfinger.
From good old Goldfinger.
Yeah.
And we priced coolers today at Robinson's. They wanted $100 for a cooler. And another foreigner was like, him and I had a conversation about the pricing. And so, anyway, that's our car story. We're hoping for many happy miles. I put it, as far as the future goes, I know this is going long, but as far as the future goes, I made sure that the car was in both names.
Yeah.
Right of survivorship. I intend to keep this car until the wheels fall off. I know it's going to get dinged. I know it's going to get, it's pretty, it's new, it's shiny right now. I was in the business 30 years. I know that in 5 years what this car is going to look like, especially living out here. It's not going to resemble anything that we've got parked out front right now. But why did I do that? I know that the days in front of me are much less than the days behind me. Not so with her. She will survive me. That's just the rules of nature. And I wanted to make sure that if I left the planet, that when she has this car, we're going to get her driving lessons and all that kind of stuff so she can drive it. She did it with the scooter. I assured her today that driving a car is easier than a scooter. You don't have to worry about balancing and everything. But she'll have to get used to it. And I'm not going to teach her. I'm going to hire a professional driving school to take sure that she learns the in and outs of it. But I want her to have it. If I should go. And God forbid, you know what, if something should happen to her, I don't have any problem if I want to transfer title or sell the car in the future also. And so that's our car story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so need versus want, safety first.
Yeah.
We're going to have the convenience now. I think it's going to open us up. We're in rainy season. We were locked in the house for not locked, but we were hostage in the house for 3 days during Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and pretty much the day after Christmas, just due to rain. We couldn't go anywhere on the scooter without getting soaked and it being dangerous to drive. We're no longer facing those obstacles with the car. So we will be doing videos, I guess, in the future of us driving the car around and take Tada with us. We're going to get Tada, our dog, a little car seat. We're really turning into a couple of old people, boring people. And we'll be touring around Dumageddon in various places. And hopefully it'll open up new avenues for us to do some more videos for you in the future. This is our last video of the year. So we want to thank you guys, all that subscribed. Thank all of you that watch us. And may you have a happy and a prosperous new year.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye guys, and Happy New Year.
Next video, we'll see you.